This is cause number 2020-21923 in the interest of Caitlin Turner. Um, do we have anybody on video?
We do not. We have Ms. Turner, the considered parent, present, but she is not on video.
Okay. All right, this is cause number 2020-21923 in the interest of Caitlin Turner. Ma'am, please raise your right hand to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
Dakia Turner, mother of Caitlin Turner.
All right, for the state.
Koya Armstrong, representing the Office of the Attorney General.
Court will note that Kevin Kazee is the non-custodial parent, that he is not checked in. Is that correct, Mr. Armstrong? Or filed an answer?
That is correct, Your Honor. I show no answer filed for Mr. Kidd.
All right. Court will note that he was personally served on August 3rd, 2020 at 5:01 p.m. at 3827 Christian Lee Lane in Houston, Harris County, Texas. We'll proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call my first witness, Ms. Turner. Ms. Turner, is that you, Dakia Turner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you are the mother of Caitlin?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And who is her father?
Kelvin Kinsey.
And is it possible that anyone else could be her father?
No, ma'am.
And does the child live with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Has the child always lived with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we didn't have, did you have any income information for Mr. Kinsey?
Only income information when he was working.
Currently, do you have any information for him
Currently, no, ma'am.
Okay, so because there was no known information for him for income, we did a minimum wage calculation. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and based on that, we're asking the court to have him pay child support in the amount of $182 per month. Are you okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you also okay with that payment beginning November 1st of 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you have the child covered through health insurance and dental insurance?
Through my job.
And are you requesting reimbursement from Mr. Kinsey for that premium?
No, ma'am.
And because you're not requesting reimbursement, we're going to set his medical support and dental support to $0 per month. Is that what you want?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you also, is it okay if you did not, excuse me, strike that, Your Honor. Ms. Turner, you did not want retroactive child support from Mr. Kinsey, is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand that if you waive it at this point, you'll never be able to ask for that retroactive child support again. You understand that?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's talk about conservatorship. Have you and Mr. Kinsey been able to make joint decisions concerning the child?
No, ma'am.
Who has been making the day-to-day decision concerning Caitlin?
Her mother, me.
Okay. Have you always been the one to make those decisions?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm requesting that the court make you the sole managed conservator of the child. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes, ma'am.
And to make Mr. Kinsey what's called the possessory conservator of the child, are you in agreement with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as far as your address, if Mr. Kinsey were to know your address, would that potentially cause you any harm or harassment?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the court of a recent incident which you were caused harm or harassment by Mr. Kinsey?
It was July of 2020.
Can you tell the court what occurred in July of 2020?
Me and Mr. Kinsey had got into an argument, and Mr. Kinsey threatened that he'll kill me and my daughter.
You and Caitlin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and were the police called at that time?
Yes, ma'am, I did contact the police and they issued me out an incident with ID number, a case number.
Did anything occur after that July of 2020 incident?
September of 2020, Mr. Kinsey popped up at my job.
Did you invite him to come to your job?
I'm sorry, the phone faded out.
Did you invite him to come up to your job?
No, ma'am, I did not.
He came unannounced.
Yes, ma'am.
And were the police also called during that incident as well?
Yes, ma'am, I did contact the police officer.
Okay. And because of this, you're asking the court to protect your address and contact information, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's talk about visitation. Has Mr. Kizzy, first of all, how old is Caitlin right now?
She's 3.
Okay. And in the last 3 years or so, has Mr. Kizzy had a consistent visitation with her?
He'll come and see her every now and then, but it
Has
wasn't
it
like
been
consistent.
consistent?
No, it wasn't consistent.
Okay. Now, because it has not been consistent, you are wanting a modified visitation schedule. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And this will allow Mr. Kizzy and your daughter to get to know each other. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you were told that this modified visitation comes in 4 phases. Is that right?
Yes.
And you want 40 visits on the first phase. Is that right?
Yes.
And 40 visits on the second phase?
Yes.
And 20 visits on the third phase?
Yes.
And 20 visits on the fourth phase?
Yes, ma'am.
And you do understand that you will not be the one that will be allowed to supervise phase 1. You understand that, right?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Choose an adult to do it for you.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if Harris County decides to have someone pay court costs, who should have to pay them? You or Mr. Kizzy?
Mr. Kinsey.
All right. And as far as I'm asking the court to not give you a geographic restriction on the child's residence. Are you okay with that?
Correct.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Let's see, Ms. Turner,
Yes.
who's going to supervise and where these visits
It will
with the child?
it will be his mother, Lorraine.
At her home?
Yes.
All right. And then after that, whenever we get to the standard possession order, where is the exchange going to be if he doesn't know your address? Where is the exchange going
The
to be?
change will be at a Chuck E. Cheese location.
It's on page
At,
4, Your Honor. The Chuck
yes,
E.
I
Cheese
see it.
is listed on. Okay.
Okay. It just wasn't brought up yet. So
Yes.
that's your agreement. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
You asking me to approve this order?
Yes, sir.
All right. The court will approve the order submitted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your
Thank you,
Honor.
sir.
May she be excused?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Turner, you can go ahead and log off of this one for me.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Ms. Garcia, if you could turn on your video and unmute yourself for me. This, Your Honor, is the Trevidi and Garcia case.
Okay. This is called number 2020-21910 in the interest of Sirhan Trivedi. Ma'am, please raise your right hand to be sworn. You solemnly swear affirm tell the truth, the whole truth, or nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I swear.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to this child.
My name's Myra Garcia. I'm mother to Srihan Trivedi.
All right, and for the state,
Koya Armstrong, representing the Office of the Attorney General.
court will note that the non-custodial parent is Purvang Trivedi. Mr. Trivedi was personally served on August 4th, 2020 6:12 p.m. at 215 Rich Hill Drive in Texarkana, County, Texas. Has he filed an answer or appeared, Miss Armstrong?
I do not show that he has, Your Honor, no.
We'll also note that he was given further notice of this Zoom hearing by certified mail that was delivered September 15th, 2020.
Mhm.
And he has not checked in. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor, he has not.
So we will proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Ms. Garcia.
Yes, ma'am.
Please say your full name.
Myra Garcia. Myra Yesenia Garcia.
Okay. And you are the mother of Trihan? Is it Trihan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who is the father?
Purvang Manoj Trivedi.
Okay. And he did sign a document called Acknowledgement of Paternity, making him the legal father of that child. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, you were able to discuss some terms for this case. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Now, are you able to make joint decisions with Mr. Trivedi concerning the child?
I am.
Okay. So therefore, we want to make you joint managed conservators. Is that right?
Yes.
And where city do you live in currently?
I'm in Hempstead,
And where does dad live currently?
Texas, in Waller County.
Dad lives in Hempstead as well?
Oh, no, Dad, I think he lives in Texarkana, or he's
Okay.
working.
Correct. And so because y'all live in different cities, you're asking the court to not put a geographic restriction on where the child's residence should be. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, we were able to get some income information from concerning Mr. Trivedi's employment. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And we found income of $1,646.67 per month gross. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And we were able to calculate child support for the one child at $277 per month. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you okay if I ask the court to have that start November 1st of 2020?
Yes.
And how do you have the child covered with health insurance and dental insurance?
Medicaid?
Okay. And do you have private health insurance available for the child?
No, ma'am.
Do you know if Mr. Trivedi has private health insurance available for the child?
No, he doesn't.
Okay. So are you okay if I ask the court to have him pay $74 per month for medical support?
Yes.
Are you okay with that also beginning November 1st of 2020?
Yes.
We did request that the court have Mr. Trivedi pay what's called retroactive child support. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And we were able to calculate that amount to be 8,502 days date. Is that right?
Yes.
And that goes from the period of November 1st of 2016 through today's date. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when we calculate that amount, the amount was actually bigger. Is that right? Initially. And we gave him some credit, about a year's worth of credit for some items that he provided to you and the child. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's how we got to the judgment of $8,502.
Correct. Yes.
Now, are you okay if I ask the court to have him pay that $75 a month towards that judgment?
Yes.
Are you also okay with that beginning November 1st of 2020?
Yes.
Now, for the court costs, are you okay if I ask the court to have Mr. Trivedi pay the court costs
Yes, ma'am.
and have those due December 21st of 2020?
Yes.
Now, we originally asked for a non-disclosure finding in this case to protect your address. Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But are you stating at this time that there is no family violence?
Yes, there's no family. He hasn't been around. Yes.
Okay. So you are no longer wanting a non-disclosure finding to protect your address. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, as far as visitation, are you okay with Mr. Trivedi having what's called a standard possession order?
Yes.
Did someone go over what that means with you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you know what that is. Okay. And then you wanted to have a public drop up and pick up location. Is that right?
Yes, Walmart.
The Walmart off of 625 and Highway 625 East?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the one in Hempstead, Texas?
Yes.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Garcia, you can log off. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This one needs to be pulled up.
Yes,
Are they ready to go?
yes, they just need to be admitted.
Search. Joseph, yes. This is also default. He didn't appear.
No answer default, but they sent him certified mail.
All right, are we ready?
Oh, submit,
Oops,
submit.
wait a minute. Oh, I've got to do that. All right, do we have Miss Barnes on here?
She should have logged in. She was told to wait in the waiting room until she was admitted, but I'm not really sure.
She needs to log in, is that what it is?
She was calling by phone. She should be on here.
She's on, she's,
I don't see her on the screen.
no, Miss Barnes? Miss Barnes, are you present?
Let me look. I think that's her.
All right, this is call number 2019-79849 in the interest of Damian Barnes. Ma'am, please raise your, witness, please raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, mother, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
Tina Barnes. He's my son.
All right, and Ms. Padu, please state your name and your involvement in this case.
My name is Natasha Bidu. I'm a child support officer with the Office of the Attorney General.
All right, and for the state.
Marcella Turner.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Gregory Allen Joseph. Mr. Joseph was served under Rule 106. On March 16, 2020 at 11:07 a.m. at the address of 2011 Canada Drive, Dallas County, Texas. He's not filed an answer. Is that correct, Ms. Turner?
That's correct, Your Honor.
He was given further notice of this Zoom hearing by certified mail, which was delivered September 14th, 2020. So he is not present. We'll proceed by default. The court will note that there's a DNA test report in the file, which would indicate that the alleged father, Gregory Joseph, is not excluded as his biological father. The tested child, Damian Barnes, the child, is subject to this suit. So let's proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. The court would like to note that since the date of filing of this case, the child before the court today has since emancipated. As a result of that, the state is abandoning and non-suiting its request in regards to conservatorship, possession and access, and current medical, dental, and child support.
All right.
Thank you. The state would like to call Ms. Barnes. You've had an opportunity to review DNA test results. Is that correct?
Correct.
And are
Yes.
you asking this court to establish the parent-child relationship between Mr. Joseph and your son, Damian Barnes?
Yes.
And between the time period of November 1st of 2015 and November 1st of 2019, did you and Mr. Joseph ever reside together?
No.
And do you know whether or not Mr. Joseph has any other children other than your child?
No, not aware.
And during that time period, did Mr. Joseph ever provide financial support for your son before the court today?
No.
And are you asking this court to grant a retroactive child support judgment today?
Yes.
And are you asking this court to grant that retroactive child support judgment from the time frame of November 1st of 2015 up until November 1st of 2019 in the amount of $17,239 as of today's date, October 21st of 2020?
Yes.
And are you asking this court to order the payout on that judgment be $200 each month beginning November 1st of 2020?
Yes.
And you are not seeking retroactive medical or dental support, is that also correct?
That's correct.
And do you have any safety concerns with your address being disclosed in this order?
No.
And are you asking this court to approve this default?
Yes.
And do you believe this order to be in the best interest of your child?
Yes.
No further questions for this witness. I'll pass this witness.
All right. Call your next witness.
The state would like to call Natasha Bidu. Ms. Bidu, could you please state your name for the record again?
Natasha Bidu.
And Ms. Bidu, where do you currently work and what is the title of your position?
I work at the Office of the Attorney General, Child Support Division, and I'm a child support officer.
And how long have you been in that particular role?
11 years.
And what are the job duties of a child support officer? What are your duties?
As a child support officer, I'm responsible to review wage information, confirm and obtain such information through valuable sources.
And did you have an opportunity to conduct an investigation and review the wage information for Mr. Joseph, the non-custodial parent on this case?
Yes.
And for the fourth quarter of 2015, what did you find from your investigative results for Mr. Joseph's gross monthly income during that time period?
$3,169 per month.
And what wage information did you find for Mr. Joseph's gross income for the first quarter of 2016, those first 3 months?
$2,083.09 per month.
And for the remaining 9 months of the year, what wage information did you find for Mr. Joseph's income in 2016?
That would be a minimum wage at $12.5667.
And was that because there was no wage information file?
That's correct. That's correct.
Right. And for the year of 2017, what did you find Mr. Joseph's gross income to be during that time period?
Likewise, the same information. It will be a minimum wage presumption due to no wage information found at $12.5667 per month.
And for the first 3 months of the year of 2018, that first quarter, what did you find Mr. Joseph's wage grossly month income to be during that time period?
Same $12.5667.
And for the remaining 9 months of 2018, what did you find Mr. Joseph's gross income to be during that time period?
$3,996.66.
And for the year of 2019, or the first 10 months of 2019, what did you find Mr. Joseph's gross monthly income to be during that time period?
$2,857.28.
No further questions for this witness. I'll pass the witness.
Ma'am, do you have any questions for her? Ma'am?
No, I
Ms.
don't have
Marks?
anything.
Okay. Anything further? Ms. Turner?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Maybe one more.
Ms. Barnes. Ms. Barnes.